Hello, old school comics reviews again. This time it's going to be a single issue review. This is going to be Moon Knight number 23 from 1982. This was the original run from the early 80s that pretty much put Moon Knight on the map as far as, with the comics fans and things like that. Uh, for people who don't know, Moon Knight is kind of this street level vigilante type superhero. Most of his adventures take place, in an urban setting. He has kind of gimmicky supervillains, werewolves, maybe mob guys, things like that. He doesn't really take on a whole lot of science fictiony things. Nothing cosmic, no crazy mutant guys, no Magneto, Doctor Doom guys, or anything like that. What made Moon Knight interesting to me when I was younger, when I first discovered the character, is he actually had three secret identities. He had his original identity of Mark Spector, who was a mercenary. Then he had his identity of Jake Lockley, the cab driver. Then he also had Stephen Grant, who was a millionaire playboy. And they played a little bit differently in those days. In those days, these were just different identities he would use to get whatever information or get the job done. If he had to stop an art thief, he would use his playboy millionaire identity to get into that world. If he had to catch a street thug, then he'd go in as Jake Lockley to get whatever information he could that way. If he's got to do a favor for his old Vietnam buddies, of course, they know him as Jake Lockley, the soldier. This issue, as far as the supporting cast, just has Frenchie, his pilot and driver, and Marlene, his girlfriend. The plot here is the second part to a two-part story that has something to do with Marlene's brother, who's some sort of doctor or psychologist or whatever. He has somehow accidentally unleashed this kind of demonic spirit type person or monster, whatever you want to call him, named Morpheus. Morpheus comes in and he takes over your mind and he makes you see nightmares, and then he also attacks you physically with something called his Ebon energy. Basically zaps you in the power rays. He zaps you with our colored black or whatever. The story is written by Doug Moench, who is the creator of Moon Knight, and the art is by Bill Sienkiewicz. Bill's art here is very, very, very much evocative of Neil Adams. Neil Adams was a big Marvel and DC artist back in the 60s and 70s, and he was really influential person. He was able to bring in a lot of realism and heavy darks and heavy shadowing and make things look realistic in a way that a lot of superhero comics weren't back in those days. And like I said, Bill was very much following in Neil's footsteps here. However, you will see how Bill on his own has kind of played around with the layouts and unconventional designs and things like that. So it's really, really interesting to check out. For it's very typical of Silver Age art at that time, bringing in sophistication and I'd say, a level of sophistication, a level of realism, and a level of not quite getting avant-garde yet, but kind of helping that pattern get established. And you also see a young Bill, just experimenting a little bit. He's nowhere near the artist he would be, I'd say even half a dozen issues later, and certainly not the person he is now, who, really broke a lot of barriers and brought different ideas as far as, what you could do in superhero art. I would say, the places to look at that would be this original run and also his run on the New Mutants back around the same time. This particular story has been reprinted a couple of times. I know you can get it in the Essential Moon Knight Volume 2, which reprints issues 11 through 30, I believe. And actually the cover to that volume is the same as the cover to this particular single issue. So, and you can probably get it pretty much anywhere. I've seen it at Borders. I'm sure most local comic book shops have it, so I would say check it out. I'd recommend this to anybody who's interested in Silver Age comics, of course. Definitely anybody who's interested in the modern Moon Knight comics. Here, we're going back to the roots of the character. Once again, I got to thank you very much for listening. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I left anything out. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, rate it, leave any comments you want to. Once again, thank you very much, and you have a great one.